What the world rejects.
I shall become the Red Dragon of Domination.
Has always been power.
Has always been love.
No matter the occasion, you always choose the path to ruin.
I shall drown you in the depths of crimson purgatory. Juggernaut Drive!
Holy fuck! I'm coming!
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the term ecchi? Good storytelling? Not a chance. Good animation? More hit or miss than my takes. What about interesting characters? Very, very hit or miss. A lot of ecchis ain't that great. But I mean, do they really need to be? Some of them are literally just softcore hentai. First thing that comes to mind is Testament to Devil's Sister, which, to be fair, story wasn't terrible, but it showed a it showed a lot when it comes to fan service. So yeah, the Curse of an Ecchi is really good. If it does the job, it does the job, if you know what I mean. Well, guess what? I care if they're good. Not even just for the lewd degen reasons. They can just be really entertaining to watch. High School of the Dead was still one of my most enjoyable shows I've watched till this point, when it comes to just pure, unfiltered goofiness. Like, look at this shit. Like, what the fuck was that shit? How fast are those goddamn calcium cannons are moving? But it was just a very enjoyable series all around. But what if I told you there was an ecchi I genuinely enjoyed, and it's in my top 5 anime, maybe even 3 if I evaluated it. The dub for this show is so fucking good. Like, listen to this shit.
No, of course not, sweetie. No one blames you. If anything, it's obviously Issei's fault for being such an incredibly brainless dildo when it comes to Rias' feelings.
What's a brainless dildo to do?
Published in 2008, the first volume of Highschool DxD came out. At a time when I was still a little lad, so innocent and pure. 1 year after Girl Lagann came out too. The only anime I had seen until this point was Dragon Ball and Naruto. Little did I know what awaited for me. Fast forward to May 26, 2014, Peak was finally animated. Highschool DxD really began to take off here. I mean, it's really no question why. Have you seen Rias Grammar lately? Goddamn. And yes, spoiler, she is my best girl in the series, so prepare for some slight biasness. Coming around the same time as such things as Kill la Kill, Akame ga Kill, and Haikyuu, it had some big competition. But Rias had 2 big things of her own. A solid story and interesting characters. 2014 was actually a really good year for anime, with such classics as Tokyo ESP, featuring such hit voice actors as Sky does Minecraft. I remember as a kid being genuinely excited to hear him in it. How times have changed. Now, I'll admit, I may have watched the DxD a little younger than I should have. Younger me was a little fucking fiend apparently. So nostalgia may have a slight bias. I have started watching it again recently though, and so far it still holds up. Does a better job of holding up than the Rias' bra and this video's jokes. I'll end myself now. Anyways, silly jokes aside, let's get into why I think Highschool DxD stands out among the shit tons of yearly ecchi that gets released, even until this day when it's like uncertain if it's going to continue. For the characters, I'll be sticking with the early cast, with some honourable mentions. Unsurprisingly, this was a lot of people's first ecchi anime due to its release, where an anime began to become popular. For the 2 viewers watching this, let me know if it was your first time in the comments, out of curiosity. Now, on to characters.
I'm Issei Hyodo, and I'm here to bring Rias Grimmery back where she belongs. No one is gonna take anything from her that she doesn't want to give!
As for characters, let's start with the MC, Issei. Voiced by Jesse James Gorell, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and formerly Scott Freeman, both did a really good job. It's not peak voice acting by any means, but it's really enjoyable. It just adds to the overall experience, and overall they did a really good job. I just imagine them chuckling in the booth as they scream shit like milkers and titties. I actually really like Issei as a main character. He isn't gut style of character writing by any means, but he fits his role and excels in it. Plus, he isn't some shy, kawaii little anime piss boy that flinches when a woman glances at him. Average ecchi protagonists run away from women more than Valorant players do. Issei knows what he wants, tries to get it, succeeds. Though, I'll admit it, it pissed me off near the end a little when Reyes clearly liked him, and he just did not realize it. I was about to reach through my screen and fucking strangle him. I thought he had his sights set on Gasper near the end. Though, if we want to get a little deeper, it could be argued he didn't realize her interest because his whole life he was told no by girls and how he would never get a girlfriend, and how none would ever want him. Hell, the first arc is him getting bullied, stabbed on a date, then even told no woman would want them again. With Issei comes the Red Dragon Emperor, Dre, a character living in pure torment, pure agony, and immeasurable suffering. I could argue he suffered more than Guts did, as he is referred to the Grabbing Dragon. Trying to defend this show when I need to say shit like Grabbing Dragon is really hard. But I never said it was perfect. But it is peak of ecchi, and I do genuinely enjoy it. Dreg is voiced by Christopher Sabat. Yes, Piccolo and All Might. Of course he is in this anime. He's done a surprising amount of these things. Overall, I think Issei fits really well as the main character. And for a good character, with all the fucking shit he says, it's honestly just really cool when he does something actually badass. Even on ecchi terms, that was really cool to see. Hell, the wedding crash was unironically badass. So yeah, that's Issei. It's just cool to see a overall goofy character eventually do something badass or meaningful. It just adds to it a bit. So yeah, overall, in ecchi terms, a pretty good main character. Not overly obnoxious and not a little cow-y piss boy. Imagine being married and still being awkward holding hands. Anyways, so let's move on to the main cast.
Who was that boy?
What boy?
The kid who was sitting in the middle.
Well, I think he's in class 2B. If I remember right, his name's Issei Hyodo. Why? What makes you ask about him?
Oh, nothing. I just wondered if you knew who he was, that's all. Oh. Checkmate.
Next, we go to the Queen of Ecchi, aka my wife. Reyes Gremory, even if you don't like Ecchi, you've seen Reyes before if you like anime. She popped off for some reason, who knows really. It's truly a mystery of all time. Voiced by Jamie Marshy, I'm not pronouncing that right. Anyways, she fucking kills it. Reyes' voice is so goddamn good. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the little anime sounding generic voices. It's just a really good voice, especially in English. They made a very good choice going for the more mature route for her voice, and I personally really liked Reyes. And no, not just for the more obvious reasons, but she stands out from the usual ecchi harem love interest, mainly once again not being a scared little anime girl that's afraid to interact with the person she's interested in. Hell, she takes the initiative most of the time. The world building in DxD is actually pretty good for a harem anime. The underworld is pretty well explained with Reyes being royalty. Plus, we all love our strong women here. And the whole thing of her being Queen of Crimson is just overall peak. Truly just peak character design all around. With a small bias to mine. She even gets her own theme, which is really fucking nice. A smooth instrumental that highlights her first reveal, which I'll delve into a bit later. I can't even diss ecchi music. I've heard some bangers in my time, be it openings or OSTs. I will talk about Reyes a little more later, but that's her brief summary. Believe me, I've had to dial this script section back. Guys, believe me guys, I might like Reyes just a little bit. How could you tell?
No, of course not, sweetie. No one blames you. If anything, it's obviously Issei's fault for being such an incredibly brainless dildo when it comes to Rias's feelings.
Next up, we have Akino. Akino is like the Virgil to Rias's Dante. Hell, color palettes almost match, except they're nowhere near alike, because Akino has a yellow color palette, not a blue one. The two are effectively best friends, but also rivals for the MC's attention. I know, peak writing, right? Akino is the daughter of a fallen angel, and a whole plot point later on. Being voiced by Terry Rogers, thankfully she also stands out voice-wise. It very much fits the script, as the scene I showed earlier with them bullying Issei. I actually really like Akino. Nowhere near as much as Rias, but she's still a very cool character. Maybe even the second contender, but we'll see later on, shall we? The laid back but still very serious type is such a good trope. Guys, please fund my Akino statue. I need it for the race when I promise. Akino bullies Issei as much as she does actually be nice to him. It's very funny. There's a few other examples of her just straight up insulting him. Not even just a dildo thing, which is peak script writing. But yeah, Akino's cool. Her and Race are my favorite of the main group. Well, Zenovia's kind of rivals that, but we'll see later on. So yeah, for reasons and not just the obvious ones, I ain't that damn bad.
Nuts, shut up. You're all looking lovely today.
You look better. I'm sorry the room's not cleaner.
Ah, there you are.
Next up, we have Kaiba. I have mixed feelings on Kaiba. He's genuinely just Kai Kisk with less character development. He's like the White Knight of the show, inoffensive, uses swords. His arc is very early on, which introduces two members of the cast, and that's about it. His arc happens, it ends, and then he kind of just vibes, which isn't a bad thing. He's not annoying, but he's also just kind of inoffensive. And it just kind of remains as like the Prince Charming of the show. But as I said, he isn't a bad character by any means. He's just sort of not the most interesting out of the variety of cast. So like, I have mixed feelings on Kaiba. I don't hate him, but he's not one of my favorites. He's just inoffensive and a white knight. But, you know, he's not a bad character. And his voice is really good. Voiced by Sean O'Connor. So that's our little white knight, Kaiba. So next is Azia. Childhood friend trope. Bit of a cock block. If Asia has no haters, Azia has no haters. I am dead. GG, well played.
That's right. Thanks for nothing, loser. Can I borrow you for a minute, perv?
Koneko is next up. I actually really like Koneko. And not for the sussy reasons, actually. She's really not my type, like, attractive-wise. She's just funny. Her deadpan humor, along with Issei, is just very amusing. He will give the most long-winded speech about why he loves breasts, then Koneko will just reply with a word like, what, or some shit. Unlike Kaiba, she gets surprisingly good development. That doesn't just last in one arc, it kind of progresses through a bit. I wasn't a huge fan of her at first, mainly because I'm not a fan of small cat girls. But her line delivery is just peak. Voiced by Jad Saxton, she's just a really good addition to the cast. Even if I didn't find her all too attractive fan service wise, she's still definitely a solid member of the cast and adds quite a bit to the comedy of the show. The deadpan voice is just peak in situations. And she's not into the pervy business that Issei is laying down. Overall, just a really good member of the cast. I like Koneko quite a bit.
How is it? Does it make me look cool?
No, Gasper is a strange little one. Something due to the fact I cannot find his age anywhere. All I can see is he is a vampire and that is it. As such, I will refrain from the sus femboy jokes. Gasper is later on introduced, and yes, I also had to double take to make sure it was not Casper. I don't have an overly strong opinion on him. He just sort of vibes quite a bit. With the ability to freeze time, which is busted in the show. But he's a bit embarrassed and afraid to use it, which is kind of the main plot point of him. He has a really cracked ability, but he can't use it because he's too like shy and embarrassed, which normally would get annoying, but it doesn't happen too often, so I mean, it's alright. It pains me the wiki does not have their age. It just says they're a vampire, so no. Oh, but they're actually 2,000 years old, so it doesn't matter if they look like a child. No, stop it. Get some help. That's Gasper, the little goat of his ears.
I'd like to think we are.
I have a thought then. Why don't we destroy that Excalibur together?
Are you sure?
I understand that technically we're...
Next gal is our knight. My maybe second or third best girl is there. Though her and Aquan are pretty tied. I know, a controversial take. I just liked the knight aesthetic on a female character. As far as knight characters go, you know, I do have an avatar of a knight character. What gender they're underneath is to be decided. No, I may have a small bias, but I think she's a little more interesting than Kiba. And no, it's not because of certain assets. We're hoping if she hits demons and realizes God is dead, which is a bit of a deep topic for an ecchi, but we'll pass on that. And it has been for quite a while. So she starts to question who answers her prayers, and it ain't God, yada yada. She joins Reyes' house. Her voice is actually really good. Voiced by Romana Noel, whatever. I've said the English dub made this show quite very enjoyable. The English VA just sound like they're having fun. Not sure how true it is, but it sure sounded like it. But yeah, Zenobia's best night girl. That's about it for the main cast, really. There's Issei, Reyes, Akeno, Kiba, Azia, Koneko, Gasper, and Zenovia. So yeah. I wonder which character I could have a preference to. But I do want to give some honorable mentions, since I actually quite like a few of the characters which is in the story, so here are the honorable mentions. Now, the first honorable mention, Syra Org, the big buff boy, my personal goat. I actually really like Syra. As a character, he was born without demonic power, trying to prove himself as the true heir to the royal family of whatever demon family he's from. The Bale household, I'm pretty sure it was. And honestly, he makes a really cool final fight. I mean, who doesn't love a big buff man? I'm not gay, I swear. I can just appreciate good human form, I swear. But yeah, Syra Org's just a really cool character. His voice is also peak. He deserved more screen time than he got, but the final arc was like all about him and Asa, so that was a good treat. Syra Org's my big buff goat. Next, Valana Gremory. Hot MILF in power, stand me the hell up. Wake the fuck up, Samurai. New MILF just dropped. Cool character. Really cool to see Reyes' mother. She will play, she's hot. Honorable mention to go. Now, with characters out of the way, let's get on to the story. Now, minor spoilers. It's not exactly berserk levels of storytelling, but for an ecchi/harem anime, it's actually really damn good. Demons versus angels versus fallen angels, devil versus devils. The world building is honestly really good. For now, I'll just give a summary, but I may make a future video with the story, because the story is actually not bad for an ecchi, so yeah, hot take. It starts off with our protagonist Issei in a normal college setting. She's a normal dude at this point. Well, a pervy one, but like a normal dude nonetheless. Attending at the same college as my wife, Reyes Gremory. She's a team, by the way. Just want to throw that in there. Some people associate college with other things. The absolute pinnacle of anime waifus. We have some competition from Rebecca from Edge Runners, but I know, the Royal Devils and the Gremlins, truly the duality of man. Issei, of course, takes an interest, but realizes she's like 10 times out of his league. Yada yada, he gets asked on a date by a rather cute woman. They go on a date, the woman turns out to be a demon, I know, crazy story, and kills him. Wham bam, Reyes appears, revealing herself as a demon, sensing the red dragon inside of him. Yeah, I can't say it, the grabbing dragon. It's, She saves him and forms a pact, allowing him to join the Gremory house. from here, it all kicks off into a peak Juggernaut Drive, Wedding Crashing, and overall, hella good fan service. As I mentioned, the story has some really good moments, which are built towards rather than just sprung onto action, which I really like. I still remember thinking Juggernaut Drive was the coolest shit ever. The speech the dragon gives, which I'll just play a little bit of. I stole the principle of domination from God, has no right going as hard as it does. I had to rewatch a bit for this video, and some of the scenes still get me giddy with how like cool they are. The wedding crash scene is such a good moment for the like best contender moments of like Issa having badass moments. Enough about anyways, enough about me training over shit. As far as story goes, it's much better than like what is usually expected from a harem / each anime. I genuinely really enjoyed it, and it is genuinely up there to my favorite anime. Well, not my favorite anime, but like maybe top 5. Issei may be a bit unlikable at first, but he like quickly grows into a character as the story progresses. And for Haramusi, I've said he's not bad. He's not completely oblivious to the point where he just glosses over situations he's in and cough, blushing the anime product. And well, the cast that appears during the story are genuinely great, and this anime gets all the love it deserves. Just you wait until the Highschool DxD waifu tier list. That'll cause some fucking fire and brimstone. Now that we've touched on to the solid story a bit, let's delve into the music. Let's start off with an absolute banger. The theme of Race. Now, I was not expecting such a theme when I began watching this shit, but whenever she first appeared, and the soft instrumental began to play, it almost gave this air of like a beautiful sadness. My honest reaction to finding out Race is a 2D thing on my screen. Anyways, the theme is really nice, and was really like a very welcome twist of expectation when I first heard it. It makes Race first appear very mysterious and intriguing, and it makes you want to find out more about her. It's just so good. It plays a few times throughout the story whenever she has a big moment or appearance, and it gives me chills every goddamn time. The theme roughly translates to "is a princess," though the theme could get a whole ass essay to itself, or I'll just stick to briefly going over it and busting over it. Another really good theme is Innocence of D. It's essentially the DxD version of Yusei Run from something like My Hero. Every time there's a cool moment or something like hype happens, you'll usually find Innocence of D snuggled in there somewhere, lingering in the background. And for a good reason. It's a really good song for action sequences. It makes it feel more alive, per se. As for an opening that stuck out to me would be Bless Your Name. The opening of Highschool DxD Born, which I will say, a thing about Highschool DxD is the naming conventions are a bit shit. It's not just season 1, it's not season 2, it's not season 3, it's Highschool DxD, Highschool DxD Born, Highschool DxD New. Those aren't in order, by the way. I'm just fucking, I don't know what order they go in. I have to look at it every time I want to watch it. The naming convention's not entirely great. But anyways, I'm sagging sidetracked. Anyways, I listened to Bless Your Name like even though I said watching the anime. Same with Innocence of D. Overall, the music is just banging. It's effective, and overall it sounds really good. It's not exactly any like Lacrimosa type beat, but it's still really good. And with some discussion on music, let's talk about the backbone of any ecchi / harem anime. The fanservice, baby! Now, as for the fanservice, well, you'll either be pleased or you'll hate the fact that there's plenty of it. As a man of culture myself, I have to say, I didn't mind all too much. With some exceptions, such as Azia and Koneko. Get that shit off my screen, dog. But when it came to people like Reyes, sign me the fuck up. I mean, come on, it's an ecchi. Really, what do you expect? Yes, there are boobs, yes, there is ass, and plenty of it. And you know what? For a goofy ass show, why the hell not? Except the Grabbing Dragon. I fucking despise it. I need to have a chat with whoever came up with the Grabbing Dragon as a fucking nickname. The name is a little sus, and it's probably why it wanted to game end himself most of the later seasons. I mean, Really not much I can say on the fan service. 1 minute you're having a badass fight, next minute, bam, calcium cannons go. As far as fan service goes, I guess, let's see, a race out of 10. Even if it's somewhat aesthetic at the times with the title cards. Overall, High School DxD is just a really enjoyable show. It's funny at times, serious at times. And let's just say I'm spicy at times, am I right, fellas? I need to stop doing that. Of course, you'll need to put up with some generic ecchi and general romance tropes such as tsundere, shy kaoi anime girl, etc. But if you can survive those, I think it's very enjoyable just to sit down and watch. Ryusa certainly helps and watch. I think it's just, yeah, just very enjoyable. You may never guess it, but Ryusa might be my favorite character. It may be hard to believe, I know. But if Ryusa has 0 fans, I am dead. As said, the overall story isn't actually bad, and it's just pretty darn enjoyable. It's the same concept as Gurren Lagann. If you just turn your brain off at certain points, it's so goddamn enjoyable. It's unreal. Sometimes you laugh, and sometimes you shout slurs at the villains. Don't know why I wrote that, I never did that. Anyways, sometimes when race is on screen, it gets stiffer than a fucking Geodude. Let's go, baby! I'm sorry, then I composed myself. Anyways, I did really enjoy DxD, and what I need to do as I cope for another season. It's never going to happen. The ending, spoiler, is actually really closing. After all these seasons, you finally get actual closure and get a meaningful kiss between Rias and Issei, showing they are now a couple. That is a lot more closure than most anime give. I don't think you understand how much I pogged saying that shit. I was on my fucking knees for I forget the mouth. It happened. He didn't get shipped with Azia. I would have committed unalive. But jokes aside, for the 2 people watching this video, make sure you check out DxD if you haven't. Hell, if anything, the spoilers help knowing she doesn't fucking end up with Azia. I'd want to watch it even more if I knew that. The 2 Issei x Azia shippers are fucking fuming right now. Womp womp. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to talk about High School DxD for like 15 minutes and do a yap fest about it. So yeah. If you haven't watched DxD, I very much recommend you go and watch it. If you vaguely like ecchi. If you're not in the ecchi, you won't enjoy it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.